Okay, and we're live. Trying some new tech, so bear with us as we kind of work out the
Nice.
kinks. But yeah, here you are, Bobby A. I know this was
Struggling.
we didn't expect to see him here today, but he is here.
I'm gonna battle through. You have to. If you can walk, you can go to work. That was the old generation. But
Exactly.
these glasses are gonna stay on the entire episode, folks, because I look like Val Kilmer as Doc Holliday in Tombstone. I look with the sunken, pale eyes. When he's not in the end, but like halfway through the movie.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you're Doc Holliday as like the tuberculosis is beginning to
that's
slowly
correct.
eat away
It's beginning.
at his
Yeah,
insides.
yeah,
Um, But
yeah.
yeah,
So
man. So I mean, this is gonna be a short one because we're just trying to keep Bobby A, keep his spirits up, but we're not trying to like sap his strength too much.
yeah.
Um, so yeah, we're gonna talk for maybe 40 minutes. This is more of an experiment to test these things out, and unfortunately, you, our audience, are the guinea pigs, as it
Nice.
were. So yeah, dude, let's target. Let's just hit a couple things, and then we'll call it a day. So the one thing I want to talk about, like, since it's coming up tomorrow, we actually have a couple things coming up.
Wait, can I ask you a
Yeah,
question
go ahead.
first? In case you have any home remedies for, like, the sinus headache that you have behind the eyes,
Yeah.
and like extreme fatigue. Those are probably the two worst symptoms. And my throat is a little better. The fever's down. But remember, Michael, we talked about Michael Jordan last week. Do you know about the infamous flu game, the game he played with the flu?
No, I didn't.
Yeah, so there's a game in the 90s where Jordan was really sick. You could see him on the bench. Like he was close to vomiting. He would have his head in his hands. They had to just keep like shoveling Gatorade and water into him just so he could get through. And he still scored like 35 points, and the Bulls still won. Chicago still won the game, and they call it the flu game. This is my flu game. Yeah.
Yeah, the stakes are not nearly as high, but
No. There's no championship title on the line in this one.
exactly.
Yeah,
But yeah. So I would say, like, let's say, what are some remedies? I mean, I think sleep is just like that's the
yeah.
biggest one, right? You just gotta like, and the nice thing is that you have the weekend now, so you can you have all day today, you have tomorrow, and then
Mm-hmm.
you have the morning Sunday. I used to do this for. I mean, I don't know if it's a remedy, but kind of fun was like I would do like a whiskey honey like tea, or even just like a whiskey honey lemon drink, and I would just like get a little bit like a little buzzed, and like the honey,
Interesting.
yeah,
Well,
the honey, the like, because I mean, what honey is usually good. People like suggest it. It's like as like an old fashioned way of like
it's soothing. Yeah.
throat, and so like honey, a lot of like lemon, and then I would like add like whiskey, and I would just make like almost like these like lemonade drinks, or I would do like essentially the equivalent with tea. And the thing is, like, I always think maybe it's just in my head that like it makes you a little bit you get a little inebriated, and then that leads you into like sleep. So then you'll go sleep for like 3-4 hours, and it's like I don't know, just kind of it's like anything else. Like, if you're feeling bad, if you're sick, if you can remedy just the feeling alone,
That's a great point.
it
Yeah.
helps, right? Because half the battle is like being able to sleep, and if you have like postnasal drip, right, it's like you can't sleep because
Which
your
I
throat
have.
hurts.
Yeah.
So you get a
Uh-huh.
little buzz, and you're like not thinking about it anymore, and you just like
And you just like fall out.
yeah,
Yeah.
you zonk out because you're gonna need
Yeah.
like an extra 8 hours of sleep at least just to kind of like aid in like healing.
In the recovery.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I used to do it. I don't know. I don't know where. I think I
I
read it
never
in
heard of
like,
that. That's smart though.
dude. I think I think I read it in like a Hemingway book, and I just was like,
Of course.
this is cool.
Yeah.
I like this. Like, if anything, it's an excuse to get a little buzzed, and yeah, I think it worked. I did it for like I would do it every once in a while. I still do it. Like I had a cold like not that long ago. I was making like tea with like a brandy or something like that. So it's just hot, and then you're a little bit inebriated, and
That's the one I've
honey,
heard about.
lemon, and
Yeah.
boom, there you go.
Yeah, that's the one I've heard about it because one time I was on a work trip and I was sick, and I went to the bartender and I said, what can you make me? Like I'm still in the midst of a cold." And he said the same thing. He said brandy with like lemon. and he threw something else in there. I forgot what was the third ingredient.
Dude,
Brandy was the one I've heard. I've never heard the whiskey side.
yeah, dude, it's kind of interesting. Like Scotch, there was a moment in time where I kind of was like, let me become a Scotch drinker, and it didn't last very long. Periodically, I forget, and then I'm like, let me try this again. But it's like I like to like look up like the history of things, and like Scotch, like a long time ago, like because Scotch has been around, like Scotch whiskey has been around for a long time, but
centuries.
it yeah. So like if you look, it had a Latin term, and the Latin it was aquavitae, which is water of life, and it was like considered like medicinally, like it would be given like medicinally, like if you were. You see it like in old books, like you read old books, like it's like someone gets caught in the cold and then they come into the home and like what do they give them? They give them like a spirit of some sort, a brandy, a cognac, something like that, because it like, unless it's just an excuse to get a little inebriated, like there must be something to that it revived you, which it kind of does. Like if you're a little bit sick and then you have a couple of drinks, like. You're still sick, but you do feel like your spirits are lifted a little bit.
Right. I think you made the salient point in the beginning where you don't feel the sickness. That's valuable. I like that better than taking like Advil PM, like trying to drug yourself to sleep. That's what I try to do, which is I don't like taking medicine. I don't know about you. You might agree. I don't like taking like medicines like that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm the same way. Like, maybe it's like foolish, but like I try to avoid taking. Like if I can get away with not taking something, I try not to take it. I don't know when that was. Like I had cancer as a kid. You knew this, right?
Yeah.
So like I had lots of medicines like as a kid, but like as I gotten older, I for some reason I have like an aversion. Like if I can get away with not taking things, like I don't take them, and I'm kind of like, all right, let my body work my way through it. And I think that's why like the booze thing is like it's not helping you feel. It's helping you feel better. You're still working your way through whatever that ailment is, but you feel better. And if you feel better mentally, you're like, that's half the battle a lot of times.
Yeah, cool. So I'm going to think about that. I wish I knew that before I was outside. Damn it.
Oh, there you go.
I'm going straight to sleep after this stuff. But
yeah, so
what were you going to ask? We went off in a serious tangent there.
No, but that's a good one.
Thank you.
I always say, like, if you go read, this is why I like Hemingway for some reason. I think he liked food a lot because in a lot of his books, like, there's food talked about and drinks. And, like, sometimes you, like, learn, like, I don't know, like old, I don't say remedies, but yeah, like, people, how they dealt with different things. Or, like, when they went out for, like, a picnic or something or for a walk, they'd go and get like a baguette and they'd get like a piece of cheese. Like, I don't know. It's just like, I always found that stuff kind of novel and interesting. And I try to apply it. I apply it to like my time.
It is. It's like natural remedies and secrets are always good. I like that. And it's better, like I said, it's better than taking pharmaceutical over the counter stuff.
Yeah, I mean, it's even like cocaine if you think about it. Like, I'm pretty sure that like the cocaine plant before it became abused, right? The people who lived, the indigenous people in those areas, like they used it as like a stimulant for when they were working. Like they chew the leaf.
Yeah, I was gonna say. Yeah, they would just chew it.
I don't think there's really any negative. Maybe there's some negative, but like you know what I mean. You're not gonna get addicted because it's not distilled per se. Maybe you could get addicted. But again, it was like, all right, you need energy. We drink coffee for energy. Like human beings try to find things to like rev them up. And, it's interesting. Like, there are plants, like natural remedies that people found. They're like, okay, we need energy. I need to go work in the field. And like, I can chew this leaf and it kind of gives me a little bump while I do my work. So that kind of stuff I find interesting.
Yeah. And it's the same thing with psychedelics too. But that's for different, like, to using psychedelics in like spiritual rituals and stuff.
Yeah, there's we can talk about this another day, but like there's something in Africa. It's called like I want to say it's called like quaint. It is like a natural. It's like it is like we don't have a chewing culture. Like people chew tobacco. That's pretty much it. But like I remember I was reading this book about like this American journalist that was stationed in some place in Africa. and like a lot of people were addicted to chewing this like root or whatever, and it was like a massive stimulant, and people would just be everyone, and this was like in the city, people would just be walking around chewing this stuff, like, and the juices like start to like come out as they chew it, and it was like.
And all like geared up. Yeah.
It fire you up. I think it was like you could become like you could hallucinate a little bit, and it was like during this like war, and it was just like he's like, yeah, man, everyone. And I forget, I don't know. This is like as a tangent, but it was just it was random.
Yeah, it's like the Nazis when they used meth to like jack up the soldiers.
Yeah, that
in World War II.
That was yeah, dude. Did you watch there's an episode on Joe Rogan where he has that guy on that's talking about he wrote a book about psilocybin and how it can heal like mentally deteriorating illnesses like MS and like
I did.
Yeah, because then they talk a lot about Germany, and like I didn't know all the ins and outs, but like they were pioneering methamphetamine. They weren't just like taking it. They were like, I think if I remember the episode, they were like
I believe you're correct.
Yeah, they were at like groundbreaking. They were like the Tesla of inventing stimulants, which makes sense, dude. If you have to go to war, I think a lot of people, I think a lot of even our military, I bet you they give them some form of stimulant.
Oh yeah. There's probably some injection that they'll take to like sharpen your focus and get your adrenaline up. Yeah,
it has to be. But yeah, anyway, so like, because I don't want to keep you too long.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. So a couple things I want to talk about, and we can do, and then we can always pick at them another time. But like tomorrow is UFC 311, so I kind of wanted to hear your thoughts on that because I was looking at the lineup and I was like blown away. This is one of the few where I'll stay up probably and watch the whole thing because it's just like the main card and the prelims is just so many. There's so many fights that are like really, really epic fights. So I wanted to kind of touch on that, and then the other two things I wanted to briefly touch on was like we have I think Biden had his farewell speech today.
Address, that address to the nation.
Did it happen already?
I think it was it yesterday? It was. I believe it's already happened. I could be wrong. Hold on. Biden farewell speech.
Yeah, and then the other thing I wanted to briefly talk about was, I mean, there's the inauguration on the 20.
Yeah, on Martin Luther King Day.
Yes. So that's Monday. So
20th.
We can kind of like briefly, maybe just like, I don't know, talk about those things, and then we'll see what happens in this next week. Should be interesting because there'll be, by the next time we meet up and talk, there should be a number of like new stuff that's happening.
Yes, it's good. It's going to be wild. Yeah. It was on Wednesday night.
Okay.
So it has happened already.
Okay, cool. So let's just knock out 311. Since that's like to me the most, I don't want to say interesting because those things are interesting, but you and I both watch UFC. I will take the credit of getting you into one of the people that got you into MMA.
Yes.
And so tomorrow should be pretty interesting. So let's just do you have the fight card up?
I do.
Yeah, so let's chat about some of those fights. Let's just do like the main card because the main card I think has like a who's who of bouts.
Yeah. All right, let's go to. But first of all, shout out Mackenzie Durr last week. She is woo. She's something else. In and out of the ring. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But so she had a good fight. She submitted Kribas. That was a good fight actually. But it's not fair that she looks like that and she's a sick fighter. That's for you. That's right up your alley, Chris.
This is very true. Very true.
All right, so for 311, we've talked about him before, and I've watched his fights on like UFC Fight Night, like the one where there's barely anyone in the crowd. Peyton Talbot, this kid is something else. Look him up. Peyton Talbot. He's
me.
undefeated in UFC right now. But he's young. He's only 26.
Yeah, let me pull him up. What is his name?
Peyton Talbot.
Peyton Talbot.
Talbott.
Peyton Talbot.
He has one decision win out of 9, and he has 7 knockouts, 9 fights.
Yeah, interesting. So
this guy is the future.
Yeah, so he's fighting 135. And who's he fighting? Okay, so this is this the prelims?
Stelos.
Okay, UFC.
This is the last main event of the prelim. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so that should be.
You know anything about Barcelos?
No. I'm looking at the prelim card right now, and I don't think there's anyone here. Let me do a quick just double check. Yeah, I mean Johnny Walker, which I'm kind of that got canceled because I was gonna say I was surprised that was a prelim. Grant Dawson, I think I've seen him fight. He's pretty good. I like to watch him. And let's see, anything else? I think Gelton Almeida. That should be a pretty good fight. He's I think he's like a Brazilian. I think he's like a jiu-jitsu guy.
Yeah, I believe you're right. Yeah, he has a good record too. Against a Moldovan, Sergey Spivak.
Yeah, so that I think that should Sergey Spivak. Oh yeah, I've seen this will be a good fight.
Yeah. See, so even the last 2 prelims are good, and
yeah, this should be like I'm pretty sure he is mainly a boxer. The Sergey Spivak.
Okay.
That should be cool.
Yeah, all right, but Chris, keep an eye on Talbot. I beg that you watch that fight and watch a killer. He's a killer. He's going to be. And look at what's also fascinating. I don't want to touch on is ESPN. You can watch it on Disney. You can watch it on Disney Plus, on regular cable, on FX. That's crazy. That's crazy. If you don't have ESPN Plus, you can watch it on cable. If you don't have cable or ESPN Plus, you can still watch it on Disney Plus. This is so popular. This is so popular now. It's wild. 3 different channels. You can watch the same event on.
That's cool. That's
cool. I think they talked about it. Fastest growing in the world. It was Mark on Rogan. He said the fastest growing world UFC and Formula 1 auto racing. But both of them. What I'm trying to tell you, both of them are global. That's why everyone in every country watches.
Interesting.
All right, so then we got Holland. Do you like Holland? He's an old veteran.
Oh yeah, I like Holland. So yeah, we looked at the prelims. Let's look at the main card. Because the main card is it's almost worth watching every single fight. I like Kevin Holland. I like him. I mean, I like.
Yeah, he's an OG.
Yeah, he's fun to watch. He's cool. I like his style. I like how he doesn't take himself too seriously. This is a business. For him, this is just
it's just making money.
I make money, and this is much easier to making money to do this than to work a job.
And you could tell he's having fun doing it. He has fun. But he doesn't really. I think now that he's in the latter end of his career, he doesn't even care if he loses. To your point, he just wants to be in the spectacle and get the paycheck. That's it.
Oh yeah.
But he used to be good. I didn't know, when you were following before, how good was he when he was in his prime?
I mean, I think he's always. I think that the biggest criticism for him has just always been that, he doesn't always take it seriously.
Yeah, I could tell.
So he's more about the. The spectacle and being an entertainer and that than I want to try to be a champion of my division. So when he's on, and when he's not on. But again, it's I think from his perspective, yeah, it's that's judging him as if he wants to be a champion instead of just this is an easy way for me to make like a lot of money. Like, let me ask you this question.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think so? Like, if you go on Reddit when it comes to like the UFC and whatnot, like, there's like the consistent gripes between like fans, and it's like the fighters don't get paid enough. What do you think about that?
I always think that athletes should be just properly compensated. I'm always on the side of the athlete more than the organization. How much does Dana White pull in for each UFC event?
I mean,
Is it more than like the main guy that's fighting?
I don't know personally. I mean, because you're talking about the difference between what a business pulls in and what the athlete
Yeah,
pulls in, not what he makes, because that's not. Like,
yeah, that's fair.
I don't know what his take home salary is, but like,
Yeah, what does the event generate?
Yeah, the business is always making more money than the athlete. Like, otherwise you wouldn't put on. You know what I mean? Like, otherwise you wouldn't put on fights. Like, that's how it is. But I guess the question is like, I don't know. I mean, I don't know, because it's kind of like,
is it because of the danger element? So they're not. They feel like they should get more money.
Well, because like it depends on if you compare it to like a NFL player, then like, yeah, dude, they don't get paid nearly as much. Or if you compare them to like a boxer, they don't get paid nearly as much. But like, I don't know, it's like if you compare them to like a plumber, like, you know what I mean? You work 3 times a year, and you might, because I think with UFC they guarantee you have 3 fights, and like I think like at a minimum you're getting paid. I could be wrong, so I know we might get flack for this one, or I will. Like, I think at a minimum you're gonna get paid like at least 50. I think that's not unreasonable to say. I think probably around 50 is a minimum for a fight. I could be wrong. I really could be wrong, but I think like 50 is a minimum. That per fight. So I mean, like,
that's a lot, then.
Yeah, let's see what is the minimum.
I would imagine someone like Marab makes a shitload of money for his main event title defense.
Oh yeah, 100%. So this is saying that this is NewYorkFights.com. So I don't know. This is the first thing that came up, but it was that. Yeah, so obviously it depends on your tier, but it says minimum pay for experience. So if you have 1 to 5 fights, and I don't think that means in the UFC, maybe just your career, you're getting, and I think these numbers are wrong. Like, it's saying 2,500, 6 to 10 fights, 5,000, 11 to 15 fights, 10,000. This is like the lowest tier. 16 to 20 fights, 15,000, 21 or more fights, 20,000. I don't know what that means though. Like, you're definitely not in the UFC, because there's champions that don't have 21 fights in the UFC. So I mean, maybe that's your career, like as a professional. I'm saying at a minimum, the low is 10 to 30, the high is 500,000 to 3 million.
Okay, so this is not the average. That's from the low. Yeah, I see the same thing here, ranging from 500,000 to 3 million per fight.
Yeah, so like if we look at the low tier, this is what I'm seeing, is 10 grand to 30K a fight. That's a low tier.
Okay.
And then from that to upwards to 3 million. So 3 million you're thinking is like, that's like the cream of the crop. That's the stars, let's say. Minimum.
Yeah, that's like Poirier and McGregor.
Yeah,
and stuff
minimum
like that.
10 to 30 minimum. So I mean, you got a lot of these probably mid-level guys make 50K a fight.
That's way too low in my opinion. So now I see what you're saying.
Fair. But again, like, let's say you're not a star, you're just a fighter that fights in the UFC. You get 3 fights a year, you're no name, and you make, let's say, 50K a fight. So you're going to make 150K a year. I mean, obviously you're not taking home that, but you only fight 3 times a year. And then you're training and whatnot. Like,
well, that's what I'm saying. It is a year-round job so for each fight you have to go through the training camp and stuff like that.
Well, correct. But I guess it's saying it's like you're only in the, like, a football player is going to do it. There's a lot more damage that they're going to go through, or a hockey player, because you're going to be in the thick of it more frequently. With fighting, it's like it's one night for 25 minutes where you're going to be like, the most damage that you're going to probably go through is like that night, because it's all, no holds bar. Like you're gonna go all in. I don't know.
Mhm.
I don't know. I don't know. I
But
I could see.
but I would say the stakes are higher. Actually, not really, because you could get really messed up in football. Someone can put the crown of their helmet into your head, and it just knocks you. Now you have CTE for the rest of your life. So I guess the stakes are similar.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess it's like I mean, if you compare it to like basketball and all of these
There's
things,
just more games though in those
Yeah.
sports. That's what.
and there's more
There's
money. I mean.
82. There's 82 hockey games.
Like I
for you.
wonder what is a I think like so I've heard like boxing. Like if you're a no-name boxer,
I
it's
don't know.
like nothing. Like dude, you'll pay to fight,
Yeah, sometimes they do.
right? So like I don't know. I don't know. I guess it's like I've always heard this the thing with UFC or with MMA is like yes, if you compare them to a football player, they're not making nearly as much money. If you compare them to a no-name boxer, they're making more money. Now, at the highest level of boxing, these guys make like 30, 60 million, 200 million in a fight, but they're like the 1% of like thousands of fighters trying to make it. So, I don't know.
Yeah,
Anyway.
they're serious outliers like Mayweather and stuff.
Yeah,
You
exactly.
know how much money that guy has? It's insane. But
Yeah, I think he's a billionaire.
he is.
All right. Anyway, I don't know enough about the subject, so we can move on.
Yeah.
I just think about it, it's like
But if your question is overall, do I think they should get paid more? Yes.
like
I
put it
think-
this way, would you get into a ring and fight in a prelim, an early prelim fight with a guaranteed, I don't know, 25K 3 times a year? Would you be willing to take a beating?
Ooh,
Not win, just like
I don't
"All
think
right,
I would.
I'm gonna train all year round to be able to take a beating. I'm gonna make like 30K. Do it 3 times a year. So at the beginning, the middle, and the end, and there you go. That's like I don't have to work the rest of the year.
I wouldn't do it.
No.
I wouldn't do it. It's too low. You could get your arm broken. Your legs broken.
I mean, they
Nah,
heal.
pass.
I mean, you could be a CVS warehouse
Yeah,
worker and
true.
get your leg broken. All right. Anyway, so
Yeah.
let's go through some of these fights. So we have so the Kevin Holland fight. I'll root for him. I think I've seen the guy he's fighting before, but I like Kevin. It'll be fun. It'll be a fun fight to watch. Like, it'll be most likely a striking fight.
Yeah, I agree with that. I've never seen De Ritter fight, but it's like you said, the records are deceiving. I don't know where he fought those 18 wins. I have no idea.
Oh yeah, I mean that's what.
But he has a good record though.
When you look at the records, I think you got to take records with a grain of salt because it's like, imagine if you're a Russian fighter, like, who's investigating the quality of the match? Who were you fighting? Where were you fighting? Like, I don't know. It's kind of like getting an engineering degree in like some small African country, right? Like when you come to America, a lot of times they're like, nah, we don't trust this engineering degree. You're gonna have to do it all over again. So I think it's kind of a little bit like that. But anyway, that was poor analogy.
So who yeah. But we'll move on. Who's your pick for this? I'm going to pick the Dutch guy.
All right, fair. I'm going to go Holland. I'll go Holland.
These two other guys, I don't know them.
Oh, dude, I'm going my man Renato Musiano.
Do I recognize that guy? Yeah, Renato. He had a good. That's the guy that had that hilarious interview.
Yes.
Yeah, I remember him now.
Yeah, he's fun. This will be a good fight because they're both like Benil Dariush is like a very accomplished fighter, but jiu-jitsu. Like I think he's won a lot of like awards specifically for jiu-jitsu. And Renato Musiano is he also is very good at jiu-jitsu. So like this should be a fun fight. Like it'll probably be a lot of striking, and then if they do end up doing jiu-jitsu, it should be like very even match. So it should be fun to watch actually. That might be the most fun fight to watch actually.
That's cool. So that's like the sleeper. That could be the fight of the night.
Yeah. It really could. Like it might be a really fun fight to watch. Like there's been some fights I've watched where like the level of the jiu-jitsu is so good where it becomes like a jiu-jitsu match, and like that is fun to watch. Like it is fun to watch. Jiu-jitsu is cool, especially like MMA jiu-jitsu where it's like you could get punched in the face, so it kind of like changes how you do jiu-jitsu. Like if you do a jiu-jitsu match, you can't get punched in the face, so there's things you can do because you're safe by default. Whereas in MMA, it's like if someone can like punch you right in the face, like it changes how you approach
the tactical setup.
Yeah,
but that's why I hate when the crowd starts booing groundwork. I hate when they do that. That's some of it. Some of those are the best parts of the fight.
Yeah, I love watching scrambles when you have like two people that are like very good at like jiu-jitsu and like wrestling, and then they're just like they do these crazy scrambles where it's just it's like what's that Looney Tunes character, the one that's like the he's like
Tasmanian Devil.
Exactly. It's just like a whirlwind. It's like two cats just like defying gravity. So yeah, that we might see that. That might be fun to watch.
Those fights are sick, man. I love those. I think we need more like you said, scrambling and jiu-jitsu work in UFC. A lot of it is striker heavy now. At least that's from what I've been seeing.
No, I agree. I mean, I agree. I mean, it's fun to watch. Especially, it's fun to watch because eventually you get caught. It's like, all right, kick, punch. It's, I don't know. It's fun if someone has like polish to it, like Fassbender. Like he kind of has like a grace to him, so it's like fun to watch him strike. So it's like Israel Adesanya. Like he has like a movement. It's like fun to watch, but like I don't particularly really want to watch just like a kickboxing match. Like I've watched kickboxing, it's not that fun. I mean, it gets old kind of quickly. So yeah, I mean, I like when they're scrambling, when there's some wrestling, when they're rolling around. Like that to me is cool.
Yeah, no, I agree. I couldn't agree more, actually. So then we have.
This will be fun too. This will be fun.
This is another good one.
I'm telling you, it's gonna be a fun night.
Yeah. So now I know all the rest of the 6 guys. I know all of them. Yeah.
So who do you got for this fight between Jiri Prochazka and Jamal Hill?
Prochazka is a pretty big boy, but I'm gonna go Hill just for USA, just to back USA.
Okay. Yeah. I'll go Jiri.
Yeah.
Because I kind of don't like. I mean, I don't know these people. It's just my opinion. Like, I don't like Jamal Hill that much. I don't like when
as a personality.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. Like, I don't like when. I mean, you have to have. I understand you have to have confidence and like a little bit of an ego to be a fighter, but like I don't like when you have no humility, where you can't admit when you've made a mistake or when you lost because someone was better than you. Like you have to like come up with like a million excuses as to why you lost. Like that kind of like hubris. It's just kind of like it gets tedious after a while. And like Jamal Hill is kind of like that. Like they both lost to the same person, and like Jamal Hill tries to make out his loss to be less like embarrassing than Jiri's loss. And Jiri's kind of like, dude, we both lost to the same guy. Like, why? Like,
yeah, didn't Jiri get knocked out in that fight?
They both did.
Oh, I didn't know. That's right.
Remember Jamal Hill? It's like he kicks, he accidentally hit a low blow.
It was a Perea.
Yeah, and then like Perea like waved off the ref, closed in, and then I think he threw like a left hand and just knocked him out cold. Like. And then Jiri, I think, got knocked out. Like, he got knocked out, too. So, it's like, come on. You both lost. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Sometimes it's like you see people when it's like they won't admit.
It's both.
Yeah, it's like you won't. Like, you lost. Like, you're not a god. Like, you can lose. Like, let's be honest. That's why I like the Kevin Holland guy, because I think he's just, like, pretty like, he's like, yeah, dude, I lost. Like, I got beat up. You know what I mean? There's people that are better than me. Or on any given night, someone can beat me. Like, let's not, like, it is what it is. Like, you are not like a superhuman.
You fun then.
Huh?
than most of the fighters. You could see that Holland is having more fun than most of the fighters.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, I got Jerry. I like him.
I
We'll
just
see what
don't like
happens.
that man butt. Get rid of that man
So
bun, too.
he shaved his head for this
Did
fight.
he? All
Yeah,
right, that's good. He's gonna look cooler.
he shaved his head to like raise money for like a woman who has cancer. He's a cool
Uh,
guy. He's a cool guy. He like lives in the woods. He's a cool guy.
And yeah, then with this one is crazy. Marab.
This will be an interesting fight. Are you familiar with Umar?
No, I know Marab. He's one of the. I like all the Georgian fighters. They're just maniacs.
So, so in
But
the-
tell me about that guy, the Umar.
So Umar is, I think he's the cousin of, the other, Nurmagomedov. The who was the guy who was like, Khabib? Yeah, Khabib. This is his cousin.
Yeah.
And Khabib actually is training, like he's the coach of 3 fighters that are all on this card. Islam, who's like his childhood friend, Umar, who I believe is his cousin, and then if you go into the early prelims, he's also the coach of Tagir Ulanbekov. So Khabib has 3 fighters that are fighting in this card.
So Khabib will be there Saturday. He's gonna be in the corner.
Correct. So he'll be in there.
That's cool.
And it's like, dude, when you listen to them talk about like, they just don't lose. Like their teams don't lose. Like look at Umar. Umar is 18-0. All right. Islam is 26, and I forget if one is. That's I guess he has one loss. I forget who it is too. So that's 26 fights. He's won his last 14 fights in a row. Umar, 18 fights, no losses, and then let's look at in the prelim. His Tagir is 15-2. Like I mean, they're killers, man. They're a killer group of guys.
That's wild, and they're all If Khabib is your coach, you're going to be a menace.
Well, and it's not even that. It's like they all have known each other their whole lives. Like they've been like training together since they were like 4 or 5 years old. Like literally, like they've known each other their whole lives and have been like fighting and training. Like we're just kind of seeing like these fighters become known. It's like an actor that becomes an overnight celebrity. Like, but in reality, it's like they've been spending the last 10 years grinding on auditions and trying to like, hit it. These guys are now all hitting it, but like for the last, 20 years, they have been like quietly in like the hills of Dagestan, like training and preparing. And now you're seeing like the fruit of the labor, essentially.
That's wild. I didn't know that they were all. So they all grew up together, training with each other. I didn't know that.
Yeah, so I was listening to an interview today about this. It's like Khabib, when Khabib's father passed away, he kind of took over the training of this crew. And like he said, he's like, once these guys all, I guess he has like this group that's been there for a long time. He's like, once they're done, I'm done. He's kind of like just like fulfilling his father's legacy. And like, once these guys have all retired, he's like, I'm done. Like, he doesn't really I think he kind of like begrudgingly is the coach. But like, yeah, he's like, these guys were helping me train for when I was when I was making my run through the UFC. Like it's like we've all been together. It's like a startup that like takes off. So right now it's like they're riding that wave.
Yeah, that's really cool. That's a good story.
Yeah, it's interesting. So yeah, I mean this fight should be interesting. I don't know. I mean they're both like tremendous wrestlers. Who knows? Who knows?
AKA American Kickboxing Academy. Is that the team? That's the team. Marab. That's Umar's team.
I guess that's what they're that's.
Who's the other guy? Islam.
Yeah, so Islam is in that crew, and what are they? Let's see. After moving, I'm looking at the Wikipedia real quick.
Because it says here his team is AKA. I'm wondering if that's it.
Yeah, because it also might be that's where they train when they're in the U.S.
Yeah, that's probably
right. Because a lot of these guys, it's like they train summertime. They're in like Abu Dhabi. They'll train. They'll be back in Dagestan and they're training. When they're in the U.S., they probably train at a particular gym. But yeah, he came from the PFL.
Okay.
And then he got signed by the UFC. So
yeah, that's it. See, Marab is only 5'6", 134. Man, these people
tiny.
Like you would never. They don't stand there walking the street, but they'll kill you.
Yeah, well, and it's also like I always find it interesting.
That's
like,
one of the fascinating things.
It's the size, yeah, and also like when you watch the fight, like when you're, because they're both small guys, but they're jacked. So they like when you see them in the cage, you don't realize how big or small they are, and then when they come out, and
that's true.
You know, they're next to one of the security guards. You see that they're like waist high. It's
kind of funny.
Tiny,
yeah. Like you would if you walked by Marab or Umar in the street. It's not like you said, like a football player or a basketball player. You'd be like, whoa. But you just fits in with everyone.
Yeah, I mean, even like the like I always think it's kind of interesting. Like I was watching football the other day, and it was like you don't realize how big they are because they're all just around each other. You realize how big they are when they get hurt and they're walked off by normal people, and like. You know what I mean? They're like helping them, and it's like they're like a foot taller than the person who's trying to like help them off the field. Then you're like, oh my goodness, they're giants.
Yeah, he's using them as a little crutch. Another they're like linemen or like 6'7", 300 pounds.
Exactly.
It's taking Rob for sure, my guy, the Georgians, big up the Georgians. And you go Umar or Marab? He's retaining for me.
Let's see. Yeah, no, I'll go Marab. I like Marab.
Yeah, nice.
He's my dude. I like Marab.
Islam. I've never seen Umar fight. Nice. Yeah, I like him a lot too. I've never seen Umar fight, so I'm excited for that. I've never once seen him. I've also never seen Arman either. But I'm going Islam. We know about this guy. This guy's just a straight up animal.
Yeah, I mean, let's see for the main event.
This is his fourth title defense already. This guy's unstoppable. He took the belt off of Oliveira, then he beat Volkanovski twice, even though one of those was a short run on for Volkanovski. Then he beat Poirier.
Yeah, let me see if I can pull up the.
This is his fourth title defense already in like 18 months. That's rare. That's very rare. He's a fighting champion.
Yeah, I mean they both have pretty great records if you think about it. Arman has like 22 wins, 3 losses. One of the losses was to Islam. Islam has 26 wins and 1 loss. Yeah, I mean it should be a very interesting fight. Like apparently I don't think I saw their first fight, but their first fight was apparently very good, and Arman only had like 3 weeks notice to prepare for it. And this is like years and years ago. I think he was like, let's see, how old is Arman? Arman is 28. So I think when he fought Islam the first time, he was 21. So this is like 7 years ago. They fought.
Yeah, that's young to be fighting Islam. That's real young.
Yeah, so I mean, Islam was a couple years older. I think he definitely had more experience, and I think it was Arman's first fight in the UFC. So yeah, I mean,
what an intro.
Yeah, this could be like I don't know. It could be like down to the wire. Like it's very possible. Like the one thing I think with Islam, this is just from me as my perspective, is like he's not as dominant a winner as Khabib. Like Khabib kind of like stayed with his game plan, and like he did the same. Like if you watch Khabib fights, they're pretty much they have a similar like shape to each of them. Like there's like they almost all, and he kind of like he had a script, and he he just never deviated from it. Islam, I feel like kind of he like mixes it up more, but it also like gets him in trouble sometimes where he's like, all right, let me try to do something different, and it's like, you get into a situation where you get caught or you're like scrambling. Whereas like Khabib, I feel like Khabib came in, he would like strike a little bit, shoot, take someone down, wrap up their legs, punch him in the face, and then choke him out. Like, if you ever watch his fights, like almost all of them are that shape. Like Islam will kick and he'll like do more of like a kickboxing fight, and then they'll end with a submission, but like he'll mix it up for a while until like he's like, okay, I gotta use wrestling again. So it's like if you're like that, you're kind of giving your opponent like room. Like, okay, like you're human. Maybe you'll make a mistake. Whereas I think with Khabib, he's like, I'm not gonna give you time. I'm not gonna fight long enough to make a mistake. I'm just gonna do what works. Like it works every time. I'm not gonna deviate. Like I don't need to fight you stand up. I know how to get you if I can get you to the ground, I'm just going to do that. It works every time. So that's why I think Islam is more fun to watch. But I also feel like if you're on his side, it's probably nerve-wracking because you're just like, dude, just do what we do. We wrestle. Like, stop kickboxing. Go do what we do. It works. So yeah.
Anyway. Yeah, I like that. No, I thought that's a good analysis. I'm going Islam. I've seen him fight once. I've seen him. No, I saw the Poirier one and the second Volkanovski one, but like I said, that was a little unfair to Volkanovski.
I mean, did you watch the first Volkanovski?
No.
Dude, you should watch that one because that one was damn close. If not, many people think Volk won.
It
was like, and that was like, I think when people saw that, they were like, this is not a good look for you, man, Islam, because like here's a guy who's like 2 weight classes down. I think at least 2. Like I think he fights maybe 1 weight class. And he's like holding his own. Like he's not, you're outclassing him in wrestling and jiu-jitsu, but like you're not destroying him. You didn't like it. It went all 5 rounds.
Yeah,
it went to the judges on the first one, which is like kind of. I think at the time people were like, "That's insane."
Yeah, that's always it's like you said, it's always iffy when you get to the judges.
Yeah, but then the second fight was pretty much there was no judges involved. He
killed him in the first round.
Kicked him in the stratosphere.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I'm going Islam, but I've never seen the other guy fight, so I'm also excited. So the 2 challengers I've never once watched, so that'll be cool.
It should be interesting. All right, well here we hit 48 minutes, so the juices are flowing, so we've kept you alive.
Yeah, let's just talk about the inauguration real quick, and then we can. Yeah. I'm gonna lie down.
Yeah. So like, I guess I haven't done it. I didn't do any. I don't have any idea of what people are kind of.
You think something is gonna happen?
So, tell me, the inauguration takes place where? It takes place in D.C.
Yeah.
Where does it take? Do you know where it takes place?
I believe it's on the lawn, where the Washington Monument. Yeah.
I have no idea, man. I'm hoping that I'm hoping it's smooth. Like I don't know what to expect. What I'm more curious about is like what will happen between Monday and Friday. How guns blazing is this new administration going to be? Like, because it's not like he's had years in a sense to like begin like to plan. Like it's not going to be like, I don't think, like the first day of a job where like the first 2 weeks you're just kind of like figuring it out. Like I think it's going to be like, all right, you go there, you go there, you go there, boom, execute this, execute that. Like I think they already have like the script written out for the next month or two. That's so I'm curious by Friday,
right?
What's gonna like what things will be in motion by then?
Yeah, no, I'm thinking along the same lines as you because I think Trump has already done this before.
Yeah,
he already has all the basically all the cabinet in place, so I think they're going to hit the ground running. So like you said in the beginning, I think next Friday there's going to be a lot more to talk about. But I was just curious if anyone thinks something outrageous is going to happen in the inauguration.
I mean, I hope
I don't,
not.
I don't think so. Not from what I've been seeing.
No.
Yeah.
And also, I kind of think it's one of those things where a lot of people who would be anti-Trump, let's say, are not fans of JD Vance.
That's right. Yeah.
So just like some people, not all people, but some people say that like Biden chose his vice president as like a safety measure. Like, all right, you're gonna take me out, you're gonna have her as president.
I see.
I've heard people make that claim. It's kind of like if you don't like Trump, JD Vance is probably more conservative than Trump is. Trump is like not. People try to make him out to be like the red devil, but like he's a pretty like I'm gonna use the word liberal, but like liberal, kind of like live and let live to a degree. Like he was a Hollywood guy. He made more money being on TV than he's probably made in real estate. Like I never really realized like how much of who he is because of the TV show.
The Apprentice.
Yeah, like I think he was financially not doing well, and then he did The Apprentice, and like it kind of like reset the clock for him. So
yeah,
like
go ahead. He squandered a lot of his father's wealth. That's because that's how he originally got wealthy.
But even then, I don't know like how well he's a multi-billionaire. His father was not a multi-billionaire, so
yeah.
I mean, I would say he's probably a multi-billionaire.
Yeah.
I mean, the Kardashians are close to being a billionaire, so I mean, a billion is not as much as it used to be. I don't think.
Yeah, wild.
So yeah, I don't know. Anyway, so like, I'm curious to see what happens there. I'm curious to see like if we already start to get disclosures by the end of the week. It could
UAPs, maybe
like that. I think. Well, like, dude, just like the New Jersey drones, like no one's talking about it anymore. Like,
I wonder if he will. Yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, what's going to go on with that? And dude, what I wanted to mention to you, I meant to send this to you earlier. Did you see the video of? And I don't know if it's fake. That's why I've been trying to figure this out. They're at the funeral for President. What's his name?
Jimmy Carter.
Jimmy Carter. Sorry, my camera is like auto moves. I gotta turn that thing off. But where they have like someone read the lips and then added the voiceover of like Obama and Trump having the conversation. Have you seen this?
No.
Oh, dude, you gotta see it. I think Trump posted it. I don't know if it's trolling or if it's real, but literally it's like someone is videotaping them because they're in the audience, right? All the presidents are there. And then Trump sits down next to Obama, or Obama sits down next to Trump. And they're talking. So you can see their lips moving.
Okay.
But there's no, like, they're not being recorded, right? They're in the audience of the funeral. And it appears that someone did the lip reading and transcribed what they're saying and then added voiceover in their voices. So I don't know if it's like a parody or if it's true, but Trump posted this. And dude, the video it's crazy to me. It's like Obama's like, "Hello, Mr. President." Like they're sitting next to each other. Like Obama was pretty much saying that Trump is like the Antichrist. And now they're sitting next to each other and he's like, "Hello, Mr. President." And then Trump's like, "For the second time, Mr. President." And then they're just talking. He's like, "Yeah." And then they're like complaining about Biden. They're like, Obama's like, he just wouldn't leave. And then they're talking about Kamala a little bit. It's crazy. To me, it's crazy. Like if you can,
I gotta check that out,
dude. Go on X. Go to Trump's. Like if you just go to him, I think he posted it himself. You can see it. And I just have not been able to find out. It's like, is this just like someone made this? Or is this literally someone read the lips, wrote the script, and now this is actually added the voiceover, and this is real? Because what it showed me, I guess my point is like, dude, politics, these people are all fucking liars. Like, you, Obama, were calling this man the devil, essentially. Not even, like, literally. Like, they
call them, what's the word I'm looking for?
He is
a
Hitler,
fascist.
Antichrist. The world is going to fall apart. And now you're like, yeah, I mean, he just, like now you're just having a conversation. You're sitting, you're cracking a joke next to him. You're like saying we should meet, we should have a conversation, and it's just like, you vile fucks, like all of you, like how are you gonna rile people up to the point where, like, because you think about it, like, dude, people, there are mentally unstable people in the world, right? Like, who listen and like take what you say to be truthful, and then that like provokes them to behavior. So like if you're Obama, like I'm just using a name, but like maybe other people, but like if you're, let's say, the people you follow, or Obama or Hillary Clinton, and you're saying this guy is going to end our country, and you know that this is just a game. I'm just going to say these words to win a point, but in reality, I don't really believe them in my heart. Well, dude, someone else who's listening to you, who takes what you say to be truthful, is now believes that like the world is going to end, and is like willing to go try to kill this person. So like to me, it's just like they are like wielding power that they're so cavalier. It's like, I'm going to say whatever I need to say to win. I don't believe these things. I'll say them, and I don't really care, or that people actually believe what I'm saying. I don't know. Something about that to me is just so vile. It made me so angry when I was.
It is, yeah, but it's both sides do it. It's not just the
politicians in general do it. I'm not disputing. But let's be honest. In the lead up to this, I don't think there were many. I think the majority of the people on mainstream television were Democrats saying that Trump was literally like the Antichrist. Like, if he is in power, there will never be another election again. The world as we know it is over. Caesar has conquered, and we are now a monarchy. Like, he will never leave. Like, those things are kind of like those are not things you just like say like offhandedly,
like flippantly.
They're like big statements. It's like saying like you don't call someone like, dude, you're you know what I mean? Like, there's things that you, even if you're angry with someone, you don't say them because they're just like, they're so black and white. They're like so hard to say. You might be like, you're a dick, you're an asshole. You don't say like, you're a the R word, or like flippantly. You know what I mean? Like, there's certain things you say that like, nah, man, you can't just say that like offhandedly. Like, it's just not. It's not right.
Yeah, I agree. You're 100% right. But let's clip
both
this.
Sides.
Yeah, all of them. But let's clip this because next week there's going to be more to talk about with this. A lot more.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, this was pretty much our UFC 311.
That was actually good. We went real deep. Yeah. Or preview.
Apologies for any technical issues as we're trying some new things out, but hopefully next week it'll iron out and it'll be even better. Bobby A will be healed and rested, and we will give you a full download of what's going on.
All right,
guys. Peace.
Later, everyone. Peace.